Okay, Dad, so here it is, the shelf unit. So you can see it's tucked into the wall. There are two small drawers on the top, and then there are two really large drawers about the same size below. Those drawers we've obviously already pulled out. We actually broke the bottom of one of them trying to get them out, so definitely time for a redo. The space, the cavity, is really well insulated. This room is the same temperature as the rest of the house, even though these shelves have been out for a long time. So when I get closer, you'll see that they have insulated the floor. So between probably the floor of the room, on top of the floor of the room, or the floor of the crawl space, there is insulation laying there, so that helps. And then once I take the top drawers out, you'll see that they've also insulated above the cabinet too. So, you know, the space is pretty secure and isn't really affecting the temperature in the room. Obviously, the way the drawers are configured is poor. And part of the reason is, as you can see, it's really close to the corner of the room. And so with that really wide drawer, if we're going to pull out the bottom one, you just have to have a lot of clearance. You have to have clearance not only from that foot from the corner to the cabinet, but you have to have clearance along the whole length of that, like 4-foot wide drawer. So I'm going to stop right now and then start and do some measurements, and then also take those top drawers out so you can see what it's like behind the top drawers. More soon. Okay, so here we are again. I've taken the top drawers out, and we are going to look a little more closely at the cavity. Now that I've gotten the top drawers out, you will see some water damage at the top of the cabinet, or the hole. I think that water damage is historical and not very recent. The roof was replaced in '96, so maybe this happened before that, because I think these drawers have been in place for a while. But you can see, so this is looking at the cavity near the top. You can see that they've also insulated the top. So this is the hole where those small drawers were. The cavity itself is pretty big. It's about 26 inches deep and like 46 wide. And then the measurement from the floor to the top is like 42. But of course we've got to accommodate it's 42 to the floor, but we're accommodating some of the insulation here, which is probably why it's so warm, so we'll want to accommodate that. So, and then the thing you have to accommodate at the top is, yes, from the front here, from the front of the cavity to that back wall there is about, like I said, 26 inches. But up here we have the slant. So we've got to accommodate the slant. So the top drawers are actually not 26 inches deep because they've been cut to accommodate the slant. So when I measure the drawers, I'll let you know. But I'll show you inside the cavity. So there's the insulation on the floor. There is the edge of the cavity. These are the railings for the drawers that were in place. So they're just, I don't know, I'd say they're 2x4s, but they're not. They're like plywood cuts. So I'd say they're, the wood is probably 1 inch plywood, and this piece here is probably 2 inches. And I don't know if you'll use those or not. Here's the top of the cavity. They both sides look the same. So there's, on the left side of the cavity, there's the top. We can see the insulation going down to the bottom, and you can see the 3 railings to hold the cabinets. Here's 1, here's 2, and here's 3. So those are the railings that the cabinets rest on and slide in and out of. The other side looks the same, so I'm not going to show it to you. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off and I'm going to show you some measurements. So now I've invited my video assistant, Steve Jansen, to help while I show you the measurements. So we'll start from the outside and go in. So from the floor, and of course it's the very top of the cabinet. So the very top of the cabinet is 47 inches. And then we'll do the opening. From side to side on the outer edges is 54.5. As I mentioned, the cabinet depth from the back of the plywood wall to the very front facing is 27 1/8 or 3/8. But of course that's affected at the top by the slant, and so I'll measure the drawers too. But generally, minus the slant, the cabinet from the back wall to the front here, the front facing, is 27 3/8, and then the width of the facing itself, the width here, is 3/4 of an inch. So this piece here, this outer facing piece, the board is 3/4 of an inch, plus some really thick paint. So, inside depth, obviously there's a board, there's some wasted space right now. So from the floor to the top of this board here is 11.5 inches, but we can't use the whole depth because we've got plywood here. So the plywood seems, or I'm sorry, the insulation seems to start at about 2 inches. So we have to accommodate at least 2 inches of insulation along the floor. Probably safer to say accommodate 3 inches of insulation. So that shortens this distance that I had measured 47 inches to the top by 2 or 3 inches. Okay, so now I'll do the inner dimensions because I know that's what really counts. So, so the width of the hole here is it's over 45, it's less than 46. I'd say it's like 45 1/4. I can measure the drawers too. And then of course it's shortened up by the railings that are already in place. But from the outer wall, from the inner wall, it's about 45, short of 45.5 inches. This measurement, so from the floor to what could be probably the top of anything you insert, is 41 3/4, but of course we have to accommodate the insulation, so you're really playing with 41 3/4 minus 3 is 38 3/4. Okay. The pre-existing drawers, although I don't know if it matters, where this one is, the hole is 9 3/4. This hole is a little bit short of that, 9 5/8. This hole here is 7 inches. And this hole here is over 21.5, I'd say 21 5/8. The width of this piece is 2 inches, that piece is 2 inches, that piece is 2 inches. And we already measured that. So I'll measure the drawers next. I'll ask my video assistant to hit the stop button. So these drawers probably could be reused. They fit well in the cabinet. What the real problem with this cabinet is this width is just completely unworkable for both organizing within, but then also it's hard to find wood for the bottom that's strong enough, and so the bottoms failed. So really my complaint about this cabinet is the fact that it's so wide and it only was designed for one drawer. So the easiest thing to do might be to put 2 drawers here and 2 drawers there, but I also think it would be cool to have some open shelves where we could put baskets or slide toys or whatever. But this is the main storage for this room because there's no closet. So the drawers that are in existence, there are 2. Now this is going to be shorter than the depth of the cabinet because it's accommodating the slant. So this, you can see, is 25 inches from the front to the very back, and it is 21.5 across, and I think I already measured the depth, but the depth is more than 6 3/4, but less than 7, so just over 6 3/4, I would say. And then this piece here is 3/4 of an inch, the facing is, and the side, which is a cheaper wood, these are 1/2 inch pieces here, and so is this. And then the bottom is pretty thin plywood. It won't hold up forever. And we'll paint it. I have lots of this trim paint left. So whatever you build, you don't have to use the best wood in the world, because we're going to end up painting it to match the outer cabinet. Anything else, Steve? Okay. Thanks, Dad. Bye.